Weekend is on its way, and I am going to share with you one of my Caribbean dishes that we cook, and got this from a Hispanic grocery store. Not familiar with the brand, but it's Salted Pollock, also known as Saltfish in the Caribbean. So the first step, now there's instructions on the back of the bag, but I mean I'm going to do my own thing. But the first step is to soak it. So I'm going to just put it to soak overnight. And then we will finish up this tomorrow. So I'm going to just soak it overnight. I have two 12-ounce bags, and you want to get the water over the fish. Now the instructions says to soak it for 8 hours, and it also says to change the water 3 times, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna just soak it overnight, and then I will boil it afterwards. Okay, so we have our saltfish fillets soaking. And the whole purpose of soaking it is to remove the excessive salt. So the longer you soak it and the more often you change the water, the less salt will be on the fish. We are on step 2 of making our saltfish dish. So basically I'm gonna just put these fillets to boil. I just drained the water, and I'm gonna put it to boil for about, I don't really have a set time. I'll say maybe 20 minutes. The saltfish is finished boiling, so I'm at the point where I usually just divide it up with my hand. And you don't really have to do this. I do this because I want to try to take out as many bones as possible. And these bones are really, really tiny and really thin, and you don't realize that you swallow the bone until it's like stuck in your throat. And I have all of them on top of my hand, but you could just put it in the pan after it's been boiled and then cook it from that point. But I like to remove as much bones as possible. So for our ingredients, we're gonna use a variety of onions. I like the red onions. I got some white onions. We also got some green onions. We have some cilantro here, and then we have some parsley, and we have some tomato. I think those are Roma tomatoes. And then we have some red pepper and orange peppers. I love color. And for the sauce, we're gonna be using 1 stick of butter. And I like to squeeze a little bit of lime. And I like to add a little bit of sugar. So I have a half a teaspoon of sugar right here. And then I like to add a little bit of ketchup. So my ketchup is like at the end of the road, so I just added some water to it, and that's just to give it some color. So I like color in my saltfish. Right now we have about half of the stick of butter in the pan, and I'm gonna add the parsley and then the diced tomatoes. The green onions and the cilantro, and I'll let that saute for a while. Right now I'm about to add the saltfish into the pot. And I'm gonna mix it around. Right now we have our saltfish added to the pot, and I'm just gonna squeeze. It's not even half, but I'm gonna squeeze like maybe 1/3 of the lime into the mixture. I'm also gonna add my ketchup now. This is just also for color and to add more liquid to the sauce. And then we're gonna add, I was not sure if I needed to do a whole stick of butter, but I'm gonna go ahead and add it in. I'm gonna add the remainder of the butter, and I'm gonna let that melt. And then I'll add my onions and peppers in a little bit. I don't really like my onions and peppers too soft, so that's why I kind of leave it at the end. Because right now it's already cooked. I'm just adding more flavor and color to the mixture. Okay, so we are at the end, and now I'm gonna add my red onions, white onions, and red pepper and orange pepper into the mixture. And I'm gonna let this simmer for about 10 minutes. I'm gonna cover it. So right now I'm gonna just add my half a teaspoon of sugar. I'm not sure why I even add sugar to it. That's just something that I've always done. And at this point you can taste it to make sure that it's tasty. Ensure that you didn't wash too much salt out of it, because you don't want to do that, because it doesn't taste good, and then you have to add salt back into it. We're gonna just let this simmer. For our provisions, we're gonna eat it with pumpkin. I have some cassava, and then we have some, they're not overripe, but they're still firm, some plantain, and I'm gonna boil all of this. Right now I am taking the outer skin off of the cassava, and I'm gonna put it to boil. I cut it in 3 because it's easier to peel the skin off. Our saltfish is finished. I added a half a cup of water to give it more sauce. My pumpkin and cassava is boiling, and I'm gonna add my plantain to it shortly. Thank you guys for watching, and please stay tuned for more delicious Caribbean recipes.